Green Party has pledged to ban the sale of new internal combustion passenger vehicles by 2030. We will maximize emission reductions in all transportation through the use of sustainably produced biofuels where electric is not viable, such as in the case of farming equipment, fishing, mining, and forestry equipment. Municipalities need increased, reliable funding to ensure that Canadians have access to public transit that is efficient, safe, and carbon neutral. Public passenger transit, including Hamilton's LRT, is not meeting the needs of people living in rural areas such as Flamborough, Glanbrook. The Green Party's National Transportation Strategy is a blueprint for moving to zero-carbon public ground transportation by 2040 and ensuring that all Canadians have access to reliable transportation at reasonable prices. Thank you.
In my office presently, we have gone as far as we could to make it a paperless office. So we try to make sure that when a constituent comes in with concerns that we do everything digitally, and we try to reduce our footprint as far as paper waste, reusable plastics to a minimum. I brought my glass water bottle tonight to make sure that I was honorable in that regard as well, even here, and we'll continue to make sure that we do that. I should mention as well that one of the things that our leader said that we're going to take action on is to help municipalities with their recycling programs. I mean, this is one of the big concerns, is we've had 2 separate cases now of waste going over to foreign countries, and oftentimes that waste that we send over to foreign countries gets plowed into the ocean, and that's where we have the plastics emergency that's invading all of our oceans. And so one of the things that a new Conservative government would do is, 1, help municipalities stop pumping raw sewage into the lakes and oceans, and 2, to help them with their recycling program so that we have complete and efficient recycling here in Canada, and we're not sending our waste to some other third world country that doesn't have the capability of handling it themselves.
So instead of just saying we're going to help municipalities with their recycling program, we're going to actually do something and say we're going to ban single-use plastics. We don't need help, we need to stop. And that's why the Liberal Party has worked very hard in the past 4 years to implement some great environmental policies. We even beat some of our targets that we're implementing. And our future targets, we want 25% of our lands protected and 25% of our oceans. We want to be net zero by 2050, and we want to have our government net zero by 2020. We've offered incentives for people to buy electric cars. This is how we're actually going to help the environment. And this commitment doesn't just come from the government, it comes from everyone. So Justin Trudeau last night in the French debate, he was taken to task for having 2 airplanes, but he's the leader that has paid for carbon credits to offset that. Andrew Scheer has not. My campaign, we're looking into paying for carbon credits at all so we can have a carbon neutral campaign. We're putting our money where our mouth is.
But you had 4 years to ban single-use plastic, and only now that it's election time, oh, we're going to ban single-use plastics.
It wasn't election time. We did it over 6 months ago, and it wasn't in our platform at the time.
The NDP has been saying this for so long, and we are ready to help the environment by creating 300,000 clean energy jobs, but also investing investing in workers, having a shift in clean energy projects, also investing massively to electrified transit, looking at retrofitting homes, and hoping to move towards more zero emissions vehicles on the road.
So really it falls behind our plan because we're already doing all of those things.
Transit, looking at retrofitting homes, and hoping to move towards more zero emissions vehicles on the road.
So really it falls behind our plan because we're already doing all of those things.
Everyone here will tell you that the issue is a global issue, and making sure that we reduce emissions around the globe is the most important thing to do. With 1.8% of the emissions here in Canada, it's incumbent upon us, yes, to continue to do work to reduce our footprint, but at the same time to make sure that those heavy emitters do what is necessary to reduce emissions, because we all share the same airshed.